In this video, we will develop a C language program for sparse matrix. Already what we have discussed on whiteboard, the same thing we will write the program and look at the demonstration. So for that, I am starting a new project and the project name I will call it as sparse matrix. The language selected is C language. Next, create a project. Project is ready and this is the main function. I'll remove these comments. Yeah. We are ready with the main function, empty main function. I'll remove the panels. Now let us start. As we have discussed on whiteboard, for implementing a sparse matrix, we will define a structure for non-zero element. So I will first define a struct for element. This is representing non-zero element. This is the row number and column number and element. So I is for row number, J is for column number, and X is for non-zero element. Then the next structure we saw was sparse. I'll call it as sparse. And the next structure we saw was sparse. In this sparse structure, we need the dimensions of a matrix, that is M, that is number of rows, number of columns, and we also should know the number of non-zero elements. So for that we have taken a variable, that is num, a data member num. Then we need array of elements. So for that structure element, and I will take a pointer, that is le, so that we can create an array of elements. Whatever the number of non-zero elements we have, we will create an array of that size and we will create it dynamically. Now structures are ready. Then first function I have shown you was for creating a sparse matrix. So I will write a function for creating a sparse matrix which takes a structure of sparse. It will take call by reference. So let us call it as S because it has to modify the structure. Now here I will take all the inputs from the keyboard, that is what are the dimensions and how many non-zero elements, and also I will read all the non-zero elements. So for that I may require some variables. I will declare them afterwards. Let us first take the input, that is dimensions. So for that I will say printf enter dimensions. Then scanf, I should take two inputs, that is number of rows and number of columns, ampersand s arrow m, ampersand s arrow n. So these are the dimensions of a matrix. Then I should also take the number of non-zero elements. I'm making a message simple, number of non-zero. So number of non-zero elements, that is, so scanf s caps num, that is s arrow num. So I know the number of non-zero elements also. Now, as we know the number of non-zero elements, we must create an array of elements here dynamically from heap of required size. So how many number of non-zero elements I have, it is given here. So that should be the size of an element array. So here, next line, I will create an array of size num. So scaps ele assign. I should call malloc function for creating an array of some size. So what should be the size? S num should be the size. And this size should be multiplied by the element. So it should be array of elements. So I should say struct element. Then as malloc function returns void pointer, I must typecast it of type element. So this will create a array of size num. An array will be of type elements. It will be creating in a heap and this ele pointer will be pointing on that one. Then as I have used malloc function, here in the top I should include the header file for it, that is stdlib.h. Now back to the create function. I have an array, then I should take all non-zero elements. So I will say printf enter all non-zero elements. Now there are more than one non-zero elements. I should read them using for loop. So for that I will take a variable I starting from 0 as long as I is less than number of non-zero elements and I plus plus. I will directly scan the values. So now for scanning, I should read three values. That is row number, column number, and the element. So I will take all those values. S of element of I dot I. The next is S of element of I dot j. This is the second dimension. Then S dot element of I dot x. This is the non-zero element itself. So that's all. It will be reading all non-zero elements. As I have used one variable, that is I will declare the variable I also here. Create function is ready. Now I will write one function for displaying sparse matrix. I will display it as a matrix. I will show zero elements as well as non-zero elements. Both the elements I will show, not just non-zero. I will display zero elements also. So let us have a function for display. Display function should take a parameter of type struct sparse matrix, and call by value is sufficient because it's not going to modify the matrix. And for displaying a matrix, we require two dimensions. So for that, I need two for loops. So I and j, as well as for non-zero elements also, I will take k. And this k, let us initialize with 0. Now using two for loops, we know how to display a matrix. So same code I will write down, two for loops. I is less than s dot m and I plus plus. Then for j assign 0 and j is less than s dot n and j plus plus. This is for two for loops for displaying a matrix. Now here I should display a non-zero element if I is equal to s dot element of k. K will be tracking the elements and it's I. As well as j should also be equal. So j should be equal to s dot element array kth element and its j dimension. If these two are matching, that is I and j are matching, then I should print an element with a space s dot element of k dot x, the element I will display. And also I should move to the next element in the sparse matrix. And if this is not matching, then I should print 0. And I'll give you a space. As we have already written the programs for displaying the matrices, so after the first for loop, if a line gap is given, then it properly looks like a matrix on the screen. Let us give a new line. Yes, I have two functions ready. Now inside the main function, I will create an object of type sparse matrix S, and I will first of all send it for create function. Then I will send it to display function for displaying the matrix. Now let us first compile and if check whether there are any errors. Let us run compile. Yeah, there are some errors. So yes, see, I am showing you the errors also because I have just typed and maybe some mistakes. So you should know if there are any errors, how to remove them. Yeah, the first error is expected expression. So something we have missed here. Yeah, this should be size of struct element. Yes, perfect. Then here I have mistyped struct. The next is M is not a member of sparse. See, this is call by value. I have taken it as call by value. So this should be dot. It should not be arrow. And here also it should be dot. It should not be an arrow. Let us compile once again. Yes, all errors are gone. Now program is ready to run. Enter dimensions. I will take the dimensions as 5 by 5 and I will give 5 non-zero elements and I'll give elements in first column. So let us give the row number, column number and non-zero element. So row number, column number is 0, 0 and the element is 1. Then row number is 1, column number is 0, and the element is 1. Then row 2, column 0, element is 1, row 3, column 0, element is 1, row 4, column 0, element is 1. Yes, here it is displaying the entire matrix along with the zeros. It's working perfect. So we have finished with the creation and displaying of a matrix.